Hello. So spooky. I like this one better for a theme song. Hi. Hi, everybody. It's episode 10. That's five twice, and that's nice. I'm really pleased that you're here. I'm pleased that you haven't abandoned me, and if you have abandoned me, I'm pleased I'm not concretely aware of your particular abandonment. Uh, I've got the sonic swoosh today because I was running a lot. 8 consecutive games of laser tag. Just went back to the beginning of the end of the line each time. And I have to say, I came in first several times, despite not being a warfare flaring person. I was shot many times. If it was a real war, it would have just taken one time to have wiped the slate clean. How are we doing? I hope we're doing well. I don't watch the chat while I do these because, despite being a language maven, here's the thing, and it's a beautiful thing. It's something to know, and it's something that's good to know. Your brain basically has one language processing um, in and out port. Uh, if you're reading something and someone comes up to you and says, Jeffords, I need the report file by 1442, if you don't stop reading what you're reading, you can't really understand the person. And if you're listening to the person, you can't understand the reading. Two people are talking to you, you have to choose one. That's just sort of how it works. So this is an important thing to know when you're dealing with language because that's what we do here on this show or whatever it is in this bathroom. And when you're absorbing language, you need to be able to focus. Everyone knows that someone comes in and annoys you, you can't have a conversation or read something. So I'm going to need you to stop all of their linguistic activity while watching this. It's very important because you will not be able to absorb the wisdom that I'm trying to share with you. And this wisdom does not come from me. I am but a vessel. Okay, we've got some great words for the 10th episode. It's a big deal in so many ways. I don't know how to begin to describe it. Actually, I do know how to begin to describe it because I am the guy with the language show. So if I didn't know how to describe it, you would want to find a different show by someone who could describe it. But you don't need to because I can. And soon, so will you be able to. So to do will you because you're learning and you're showing up. That's so important. I'm showing up too, but that's different. I have a responsibility to you. You're showing up out of responsibility to yourself for self-improvement. And this is real self-improvement. If you're looking for self-help of people telling you how to instantly be more successful, they're charlatans. I'm not trying to help you in some way where this isn't follow these 4 easy word definitions each day and you'll become rich. This is a doorway. This is a doorway. This is a map through a forest that you have to walk through. I'm just here to give you the map and hope that you can give you tips on reading it, send you on your way. If you keep coming back to this map as you walk through the forest, you'll get to the other side. And so will I. I'm learning too. Making videos is great for learning about things. All these words, I've learned so much about them as I research this. I spend, for every 12, 20-minute video, I've spent hours of research. And I do this every weekday. And I don't even have a Patreon or anything. I'm doing it out of love. Love. The world needs more of that. Okay, I always talk for 20 minutes and then spend about 5 minutes on the words. My battery's fully charged today. Well, not anymore fully, but it's reasonably charged. Word number 1 is a good one. It's desperadulation, and it's something I've personally experienced from the desperadulatious person side, not from the subject or the object. Okay, desperadulation is the intense need to, above all other concerns and at any cost, let the subject of your limerence or kind of parasocial like obsession Be aware that you have like the utmost respect for them and they've touched your life in so many ways, and you just want to let them know how important they were to your teenage years and they got you through some tough times. You just want to let them know that, and then after you let them know that, you just want to let them know that they can crash at your place if they're ever in Indiana. Or does anyone know where YouTube guy's sister lives? I saw on Instagram that it looked like the Midwest. I've seen this stuff online, and it's like, that isn't how you be a fan of something. You can be really into something. I'm talking about the people who like hide in the bushes and try and take pictures of bands when they go in the recording studio, or like know the birthdays of their kids. Um, it's creepy. It's too far. What is it Stephen King was saying? I'm sorry, I quote the same people over and over because I'm as broad-minded as I am. I like the things I like. As he once said to people, please let my books be your way of knowing me. I think one thing that these people don't understand is that when somebody gets to a certain point, the sheer number of people whose lives they've touched and childhoods they've made, it isn't like that people don't care when they hear it. It's just to you, it's so special because it's your childhood that they touched, or your life, or they set you on the path of reading or music or whatever it was that you. I want to let you know that I play the French horn because of you. And to you, it's like, you did this for me. And they're like, that's great. And they do care. But multiply that by like hundreds of thousands or millions of people and decades of people telling them this. It's special to you. Like, I hate to quote Friends, but that one episode with the laminated list, and he says to the whatever beautiful actress, but this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. And she's like, coffee shop guy, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity for you. Like, she's a famous actress. She can make whatever. Hate to quote it. They need to do a like reboot of Friends with like all turtles. I would watch that for a while. So one quote by Robert Smith of The Cure, someone I don't believe I brought up yet, is, he said, when you're in a restaurant eating with your friends and people come up to you, there's a huge difference between the people who just mention, oh, I really loved your last album, and then move on. And then these people who come up, and this was his exact words, and they're like, I must give you my soul. And he said this in like 1985 or something, way before the internet, and it's just worse now. And I've done this a million times, gone through huge phases where I was obsessed with someone and wanted to like become their friend once they realized how cool I was. And then, I've become friends with so many famous people that way. If you got it, you got it. Most people don't. They tell me like, you're the one guy. It's like, everyone has like one friend who's different from the others. I'm like that guy to all of my favorite celebrities. They're like, he's funny. I'm not really funny, but because I'm so unlike the celebs they hang with, it's like that Sunny episode, which was a play on Cruel Intentions, where they just brought them there to the rich people's thing to laugh at them, but you still get access to the rich people. So that's desperate adulation. Adulation is a wonderful thing. Letting art and artists be important in your life is a wonderful thing, and I would never discourage it. Art is important in your life, and if it's not much of a life. Art isn't the basis of life, but art is an expression thereof, and therefore relevant to life. So don't let the desperate creep into your adulation. There's no need to be desperate, and there's no need to. It's an unattainable goal. It's like saying, I want to walk to the moon and back 500 times, and then being so frustrated. That was the one thing you wanted to do. It's so hard to like choose what your heart sets as a goal, and learning that you have some control over that is an important part of modern society for those who wish to be self-aware. That was just one word, guys. How are you guys doing? I can't see if you're chatting, so I hope you're doing well. Oh, here, let me bring that up. Cretan45 says, Why be desperate in your adulation when you could be adulatory in your desperation? Tongue twister there. That is an inversion of a sentence, and I will seek in my heart to see if I find meaning in it. Thank you for that contribution. No, I will not take off my top, party 89. Here's the thing. Here's the thing about this. This shirt. It is a women's maternity shirt I bought at Goodwill. I did not know this. I still wear it. I wear all the women's clothing I can to get back at them for what they've done to me. They gave birth to me. They fed me. They educated me. And many other things. I'm not going to go into that. But too many resources, women. The problem with modern society is that men haven't taken enough resources from the women and ladies. And I just, this is my contribution to righting that wrong. And that kind of leads us into the next word. I'm trying to say subject or topic of exploration, and then I realized it'd be funnier if I just said word, because to forget the word on a show about teaching you words would be funny. So I humiliated myself for your amusement. Isn't that what this is all about, besides education and learning and the love of language? Oh, crevasse of these tongue twister words really get me, but they're so poignant. It's like a dinosaur name when you're a little kid. The power and ownership you feel when you get it, that's worth the journey. And that's what this. I want to teach you the love of the journey. Not these aren't like now you're done. You've learned desperate adulation. You're never done. That's what this is a week daily show for, to show you that you can keep going. It's nearly infinite, and new words are coined all the time. New machines are invented, devices that need names, new processes, new software, develop a million areas. New animals are discovered, new organs are discovered inside the animals, new genes are discovered. People manufacture different types of denim jeans that need new names. Fashion changes constantly. I don't know any of the terms from that, but it does. And so you'll never run out of words. Even if you learn every single word that exists, a year from now you'll have thousands of words to learn. So I want you to learn to say this word with me, and then you can say it at people and just rub it in their face that you're cooler than them because you have more linguistic dexterity. People of all types who are non-asexual appreciate linguistic dexterity. Crevassa lascivious. It's not that hard. It's just like a seesaw, and you've got to go up in the middle. Crevassa lascivious is someone who is deeply and inappropriately erotic. That's a problem. But they focus on fjords and chasms as the objects of their desire. Why is this so? Why is anything so? I'm not here to judge. In fact, this was actually listed as a psychiatric disorder until DSM-4, where they reevaluate it. It is now the only way that it is legally permissible to discriminate against these people. I put discriminate in quotes not because I'm saying it's not discrimination, but because it's a pretty important form of discrimination. You can't go up to someone and tease them, or it's a hate crime. But through a loophole, they can use it on pre-employment psychological screenings for certain jobs, not all government jobs. Okay, not only government jobs, all government jobs, but not only government jobs. And if they don't ask directly, but they have questions. This is how those pre-employment screenings work, mind you. They do not ask directly, but there are a set of 4 questions spread throughout the exam that do give correct results. They've been standardized at 95% of the time because it's very hard for a crevassa lascivious person to completely conceal their unquenchable lust for the fjords and for chasms. So they ask about which vacation destination would you most prefer? Norway or London, New York, blah, blah, blah. And you see where they're getting at? They're not asking directly, but if a person wants access to some of the best fjords known or to chasms, would you rather spelunk, do urban exploration, blah, 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 read on the patio? And the people, they can't help it. If they put spelunking and Norway and you're starting to understand it's the constellation of responses. This is true for all pre-employment psychological screening. Um, they have what they call like fake out questions. It's like I never get mad at my coworkers. Someone who's just lying, they don't call them fake out questions. Someone who's just lying and trying to make themselves sound as good as possible will be like, of course I never get mad. No, never, not once. They often, these screening tests use a Likert scale, it's called, which is a 5 to 7 point scalar. Like on a scale of 1 to 7, would you say you were very pissed off, slightly pissed off, not neither pissed nor unpissed? You get the drift gist. Usually it's a 5 point Likert scale, very slightly, neither this nor that, slightly the opposite, very the opposite. But it can go up to 7. And I'm not an expert on Likert scales. This is a language level up, not a Likert level up. But I'm saying, if you are in a position where they're going to try to discriminate against you based on what they perceive your mind to be, and I'm not at all convinced. I've worked in these places. I'm not at all convinced these tests are. It could be just another form of phrenology. They're doing that with AI and looking at your face too. Some companies, and it's damn close to eugenics. I don't want to be insane, but if you are forced to take one of these tests, keep these thoughts in mind. Generally, the best way, what they're looking for is answer that you are a good person, but not some saintly angel, because those are the trick questions that will make them discard. If you say you're good, 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 of course I get sleepy sometimes, or like I'm always full of energy and care only about work. Sometimes I get distracted at the job. Don't ever put you never get distracted ever, because nobody does. And they'll know that you're lying about when you say that you care about the company and stuff. That's a little bonus tip, not a language tip, but if you don't have a job, if you get fired, you're not gonna be able to pay your internet or phone bill, and you won't be able to keep watching. And also, no one deserves to live in poverty because they don't know some trick on some possibly scam. It's a way to convince. It's a further tool to convince you that we're in a meritocracy. And that's the trick they use to make you feel that it's your fault that you're not doing well. And if I can help a few people biff over those stupid tests and get themselves into a job that they definitely deserve better than, but at least that much, then that's bonus help. Okay, then we spent a long time on Crevassa lascivius without really spending much time on Crevassa lascivius, but what more can we say? If someone wants to go to Norway and get busy with a fjord, maybe the fjord can't consent, but it can't notice either. So in terms of impact, you always have to look at impact. Intent doesn't matter when you're dealing with others. Impact does. I see it as a low impact, except for the poor guy's doink. It's a rocky. I don't know one chasm that's soft and gooey. Okay, now we're getting to it. There are, but they are not the chasms that the Crevassa lascivius folk are interested in. Enough said. In fact, too much said. On to word number 3 on episode 10, which makes it 43rd word. I'm not a math guy. This is not a math show. I can't go deep. This is a math watching cruise. Sorry. That's from a deleted scene. Word 3, I introduce the words and then 2 minutes later say them, is chastiseful. It's hard to get at the roots of this when you say it, pronounce it properly. But chastiseful is a peculiar zeal for being overly like a booger snot when you're pointing out someone's faults and foibles, instead of being like, "Oh, hey, your shoelace is untied." Like, "Look like somebody doesn't know how to tie their shoe." You see what I'm saying? Instead of being helpful and coming from a place of like empathy and not, you're just as disdainful and mockery written as possible in every, you're like, haha, you did something wrong. And then when you do something wrong, well, I was just blah blah blah. We covered, this is sort of like the one the other day, but these little booger snots, they clearly do it to make themselves feel better. But here's the danger in this, and I'm sure there's some booger snots that will see this before I die. um, if you're choosing to let this make you feel better, you think you have no other way to feel better, but it's something that people choose to focus on, and you're choosing to derive joy from this. And what you're not noticing is that you're pushing everybody away, and you're becoming someone no one likes. So if other people's faults are so bad, isn't deliberately like ruining every social relationship you have for a petty sense that you're not as bad as you know in your heart you are, a bad activity to also criticize? If someone not tying their shoe is worth laughing about what idiots they are, then surely ruining your entire life on purpose is equally, if not, dare I say, more ridiculous and shameful. Just a thought. I'm not an expert. I can't go deep. This is not a curing society's ills uh, learning tour. This is a curing society's ills watching tour. I'm going to do that anytime I want. You can't stop me. Ladies, laser tag 8 times in a row and came in first like 3 times. Those little 5-year-olds sucked. Okay, so I mean, well, that was kind of successful, wasn't it? Those 5-year-olds had not yet developed a mature laser tag stratagem or effective demonstration of training that allowed me to destroy them 5 out of 8 times. Not overly proud of that, because I know in my heart that they only have room to grow. And hopefully they learn from my technique. Be superior, be bigger, be just naturally better. Um, kind of do it with a little filler. They're good kids. Didn't mean to make that one girl cry. I didn't even say anything that mean. Oh, I'm just kidding. It was totally mean, but it was just a moment. It was just one of those. I was just carried by the moment. It doesn't mean anything bad about me. I mean, I don't. I would never actually do what I just did for any reason, right? As successful, please try to be more empathetic, especially pointing out people's faults. People are always embarrassed. You can be as polite as possible, and people will be embarrassed. And I think it's more than the insult that people are thriving off the hope of sparking that embarrassment. Why not be super polite and point out people's faults, and they're still going to be embarrassed, even if you do it from a place of helpfulness. So, what you get in return is knowing that you inflicted the social unpleasantness on them without being condemnable in the process. There's times when it's good to point out something somebody's done wrong, like if they're going to hit a button that will accidentally chop them in half instead of distribute a cheeseburger out of a chute as they believed, and they'll probably be relieved, but it's still tough to realize you messed something up, like your flies unzipped. Oh crap, no one's ever like, yeah, I know, want to peek inside? I mean, if they are, run away. Okay, we've got to wrap this up. It's like the middle of the night. I'm off schedule. Off book. This last one is a purely linguistic term, which, do a lot of biology, do a lot of social words, a lot of tech stuff, but purely linguistic word. This is going to be kind of foundational to the rest of what we do. And this is interesting because we get a bonus word, and we get a bonus me babbling on at length, because that's what language is. You can't babble without language, so the more I babble, the more I'm teaching you about language. ipso facto, brother. I mean, I could say frog, frog, amphibian frog, scientific name bufo, and that's a really stupid set of things to say, but I bet you didn't know the scientific name for a frog was bufo. Bufo. It sounds like a funny screen name on a like Call of Duty or something. Okay, this word is zlarotic. Zlarotic. It's not erotic, and it's not sclerotic, and that's the bonus word. Sclerotic is a disorder of the whites of your eyes. They like yellow up and stuff. Sign of liver trouble, perhaps. But we're not here to teach about medicine. This isn't a medicine learning tour or a medicine watching tour. I'm going to have to subvert it because I did not mean to keep saying it. I said I'd say as much as I want, but that's more than I want. Sclerotic, not sclerotic. Zlarhotic. You got to say hotic, and that's part of the issue. It is a speech impediment wherein non-Germanic speakers or Germanic speakers, because they have different R's, they cannot say R. That's rhoticity or roticity. Rhoticity is your ability, how well you say R's. Some people don't have the rhoticity of others. And I think, come to think of it, that's probably where the British difficulty with hello comes from. And caw, this rhoticity issue. But this isn't just about rhoticity, this is sclerotic. And the reason it is called this is a speech impediment caused by a lesion or injury to a certain small part of your brain that is called Lacus gyrus. Much like Broca's area, this is important for speech, obviously, but not as important since it just changes one sound, whereas Broca's area causes aphasia. Is it productive aphasia or receptive aphasia? There's one part of the brain where you cannot speak properly, even though your thoughts are clear. Your ability to translate them to words is gone. And people either linguistically catatonic, silent, or they just babble out this beautiful rush of nonsense, and it would be beautiful except for the frustration that these people feel. They're fully capable, and they can't write it down either. They're fully capable of thinking and doing all the things we can do. They just can't get it out, and it's a hellish state to be in, I'm certain. And then there's people who can speak just fine, but they can't understand what's being said to them, and I think they're the one. I'm not an expert on this. It's not a Broca's aphasia. I won't go on, but we're not watching that. But in comparison, this is a far less serious speech impediment. Luckily for its sufferers, unluckily for its sufferers, it's very noticeable. It isn't like what we think of as speech impediment is less severe because this is a neurological in basis rather than physiological. I mean, neurologic, that's part of your physicality, but the distinction I'm making is plain. So I will not quibble. I don't want to be chastised zestful towards myself. In scleroticity, a sclerotic individual cannot say the R sound without doing the Germanic rolling R sound like that. Like, that's filled with razor sharp rocks, like Emmanuel Gimli says. Razor sharp rocks. They can't ever say R without doing that. It's a car, every time, and it's clearly very noticeable, but that's not the worst part, or it's not the extent of the unfortunateness for these people, because it's followed by a sound. It sounds like a hiccup, but scientists determined in the 50s that it is unrelated, is not caused by the same function as a hiccup, which really surprised them. Is actually the tongue in the throat, where you can't see it, has a convulsion for these people afterwards, and it forces air out, and it produces a sound much like a hiccup, and that's what a hiccup is after they do this rolling R. Even if it's at the middle of a word, even if it's at the beginning of a word. So these people, obviously, they have to talk on the phone, but do anything, job interview, cannot hide that they have this issue. Some people have focused incredibly hard on increasing their vocabulary, as we approve of here, so that they can speak as much as possible in words without R's. We'll say automobile instead of car, that sort of thing, but to a degree that goes very far beyond. And others kind of try to embrace it, and I think that's positive. And I think that's very good. The problem is these individuals can embrace it, but society needs to be on board. And if you go into a job interview as positive as possible and they have a backwards mindset and they're just like, I don't want customers to have to deal with this, that's just discrimination. It's discrimination, and I don't think it's fair. So take care of your Latkes gyrus, but definitely take care of your Broca's area. Wernicke is the other area. Wernicke's aphasia. One is receptive and one is generative, and I always confuse them, so I'm sure that information was a little off. Can I make this guy move around during it? He's a good Yeti. Now he's a good Bartleby. Oh, Bartleby. Okay, well, this has been a lovely time. We've done 4 words. Now we've done, I said 43. We've done 40 now. It's not a mass show, period. I'm not going to make the same joke 9 times. You guys have been delightful. You've been so attentive, and you've been my guiding light throughout this process. And you've guided my light. Your light has guided me. You've guided my light to shine more brightly. I hope I've helped the light of language shine more brightly in your mind and heart tonight. And I hope that no sharks fly through your window.